We already made a lot of jokes about that. Let's get to
Happy New
this.
Year.
Let's hear what this fucking guy has to say.
New year means new goals, and maybe one of your goals this year is to burn as much money as possible. And I have a great solution for you. It's called esports. If you don't know, pretty much every single esports organization is vastly overvalued because they're all subsidized by venture capitalist groups that are probably going to get fed up in 3 to 5 years when none of them are profitable, or crypto exchanges.
Damn, he's right. I mean, that's true. Very good take.
And we know what's happening with crypto exchanges. Let's just take a look at the Forbes top 10 most valuable esports companies. At the top, you can see TSM, 100 Thieves, Liquid, and FaZe Clan. Well, let's just take a look at TSM. How are they doing? Oh, they had a deal with FTX that got suspended. It was worth $210 million. Okay, that's all right. Well, how about 100 Thieves? They laid off a bunch of people. Okay, well, you got to reduce overhead sometimes. Okay, what about Liquid? Oh, a deal with Coinbase.
Yeah, they did the mogul route.
4 years.
Who else did a deal with Coinbase?
Surely that will last. And finally, FaZe Clan. Okay, publicly traded company valued at 134 million. Wait, 400 million, 100. Okay, that dropped. Oh, that dropped really fast. Okay, well, that's look, not me just trying to make fun of esports orgs, because I like esports and I like anyone who takes.
What is this?
And Maya in.
Bro, you are so horny. You sent me a fucking mobile Twitch link, dog. That's crazy. That didn't work. Okay. Send me the normal clip. It's like, bro, you got to get this.
An attempt.
I respect it. That's actually a helpful clip.
Making it work. It just doesn't seem like the economics of it match the ambitions of a lot of the people inside of the sphere. What does work, however?
Bro removed the M and thought that would work. Lamau. Wait, why would I not think that would work? Also, this fucking guy, I tried to call him yesterday and he said he's at an Olive Garden. And then he said some anti-Turkish shit. He literally said, I can't be seen here with a Turkish man, communicating with a Turkish man, like the Italians, the Turks have any sort of beef against them or something.
And
anyway, all right, let's watch this guy. Let's watch this fraud.
However, content teams, influencers, signing content creators, which a lot of esports orgs do, and that seems to be the profitable part of their business, and it's also what some content teams do. I mean, take offline TV, for example. You put all these people in a room, they print out multiple million view videos that they can sell giant sponsors on. I mean, pretty much every one of their videos has a sponsor, and they're getting buku bucks for that with pretty low overhead because they each have their own individual careers. Now, imagine you could combine the content team of OTV with maybe the more rigid structure of an esports org, and you end up with something like OTK, One True King, a streamer-backed esports org that doesn't really do esports. I mean, they had a team in World of Warcraft, but they dropped the team, so they're pretty much just sticking with the good old-fashioned content creator route, which is smart because they're not only able to sell sponsors on the watch hours of all the people inside the org, they're also able to sell things directly to consumers with businesses they start, like Starforge Systems. I mean, imagine if I had Swipe Bidets and then
I have a Starforge PC that I'm streaming out of currently.
Had a team of 10 creators that I worked with all the time, and they all sold Swipe Bidets individually, we'd get a lot of buttholes clean in the new year.
Yeah,
so
it was
makes
free,
sense.
yeah.
And don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the most popular Twitch teams by hours watched. Obviously, G Fuel at the top. They have 671 creators.
This is literally XQC, which is crazy. The number for Luminosity is that high because of XQC.
XQC's org, he's up top there. Loaded, they have a bunch of big creators. And OTK's fourth. They're fourth with only 14 people, and a couple of their creators barely streamed over the past year for reasons we're going to get into. Now, I haven't made any videos about OTK because, well, none of the individual pieces felt substantial enough to talk about for longer than a couple of minutes, but enough has happened over the past year, and especially with the update last night that ended the investigation on Mizkif, that I feel like we can talk about it all today. Now, we're going to get to the investigation with Mizkif at the end, but first, let's do things in order with what started off their terrible month of December, and it involves another one of their founders, Rich Campbell. Now, Rich Campbell, if you don't know, is a esports host turned streamer who did a lot of maybe the more business side of things behind OTK. And one of the people that he used to be in a relationship with, Lexi, on Twitter, dropped a tweet longer about a terrible experience she had with Rich. And I really recommend you read this on your own because I think it states how she feels about it more clearly and everything that happened more clearly. But I'm going to read you 2 excerpts. I'm not here to sleep with you, and I do not want that. That is Lexi to Rich Campbell when they were hanging out at Rich's place. And then Rich replied, by jerking off in front of her while continuing to talk about her getting pregnant and then begging her to have sex with him. After she said no, he continually attempted to take her clothes off. She kept saying no, and at the very end, he rolled her over and put himself inside of her and finished unprotected. That was hard to read, but it is a clear picture of sexual assault, rape, just outright. Now, Rich hasn't replied to this yet, but there were a lot of text messages that backed up them being together at that exact moment, him asking her to come over, etc. And it ended off with a text from him to her right after it ended with the same timeline saying, "You okay?" So I believe the account. You can wait for Rich Campbell's statement, which hasn't come out yet, but it's pretty clear that OTK also believes the statement, or at least is concerned enough about it that they instantly, and I mean instantly, dropped him. Within like hours of the statement coming out, he was booted from OTK, which is big. I mean, he's one of the founders of it, and they kicked him out. So that was a terrible thing to happen. But the next week, the troubles didn't end for OTK as a whole because they lost a huge part of their organization, Jay Schlatt. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to tell you the value that Jay Schlatt has on the YouTube algorithm. He's one of my most viewed videos on pretty much every single one of my channels, and he's part of the reason why Mogul Mail even exists today, because the weekly slap is what inspired me originally. And he mutually agreed to leave OTK. Now, it might not seem like a big hit because, he's not much of a streamer. He doesn't stream too often, so many people didn't even know he was in OTK. But if you look at OTK's YouTube channel, that has almost 600,000 subscribers, that was built by Jay Schlatt. Let's just take a look at the top 10 most viewed videos. 9 of them are involving Jay Schlatt. He's like 13 of the top 15. He is OTK YouTube, and I think that's a big thing to lose. And then the week after that, which was actually just last night, we finally got the end to the investigation on Mizkif over the alleged sexual assault cover-up involving his best friend at the time, Crazy Slick. And now, if you don't know, this was basically a third-party law firm that OTK hired to investigate Mizkif, to which a lot of people, I think, understandably were upset about. They're like, okay, well, aren't you just investigating yourself? But who is supposed to do the investigation? If there were no charges filed by the police and they aren't doing an investigation, it's not like someone's going to magically get up and do it. You kind of have to hire someone to try to absolve yourself. But even if we just ignore the entirety of the investigation, I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of the allegations made in the original tweet by Trainwreck were outright false. I covered this in a video I made yesterday called I Lied, but if we just go over it one more time again, there was no blackmail. Not an iota of blackmail was seen. When Train said, "Are you going to send Maya and Mitch to cover up sexual assault?" Maya said on a stream that she would have gone on her own volition. And then as far as the one thing that did age really poorly and that was pretty bad of Mizkif, aka this clip. Well, let's just play my reaction here.
Single person that we used to hang out with that doesn't hang out with Slick anymore because of what happened. I actually think there's literally none. Because the reality is, worst comes to worst of it, it's fucking like
he timed that. He did that on purpose. He did the water thing on purpose.
Sexual harassment, right? I mean, no one, of what you can deem of it, it's sexual harassment, whatever.
Now, this was a clip from Miz that was on his alt stream that didn't sound so nice in the moment, and this is what I said about it.
At a low scale, it's not really a big deal. I don't think people really gave a shit.
This is Miz speaking way too candidly and way too stupidly about sexual assault, saying it's low scale, like there's a tier list that we have to drop every year on what sexual assault we need to rank S tier, what sexual assault we need to rank F tier. And I lambasted him a bit for that comment because it was pertaining to sexual assault, which is like a big deal. But I was wrong. He wasn't talking about sexual assault at the time. It was only known that Crazy Slick, his roommate at the time, sexually harassed Adriana. That's based off her words. Listen to this.
I've only recently figured out and found out, especially without sitting, that it's sexual assault.
So I feel like that covers it. I'm just playing that clip.
Okay, all the stuff was known at the time. I talked about this pretty extensively, okay? All the stuff was known at the time. I talked about this pretty extensively. I think that the expectation of like a normal person to be this careful is a valid one, right? To be careful enough to make sure that you deal with this in a delicate way because it is a delicate matter is an understandable and normal one. I don't think it's like above board. I don't think it's beyond. I also maintain the position that you can be a good person overall, which I believe still to this day, Maya is a good person overall, who did something in that moment, intentionally or unintentionally, that was bad. Okay? This was my assessment on the situation. And personally, I told you guys this. Like, I love Maya. I think Maya is a great person overall. She did a wrong thing there. And she recognized that she had done a wrong thing. And she very quickly owned up to it, and also said that she should not have done it. She should not have gone there. The implication alone was damaging. Okay, the implication alone was damaging in that situation. Okay. Question mark didn't do anything wrong. Listen, my friend, I am not going to have a conversation with gamers about how to deal with situations where sexual assault or sexual harassment or whatever you want to fucking call it, but still sexual assault has happened, okay? Like, we're way past that point, okay? We're not going to rehash this over and over again, okay? Even at the time, literally when Adriana wrote her twit longer, my reaction to it was the same, which was, and this was before she came out later and said that, that twit longer was wrong. I actually personally think that it was sexual assault. I was groped. Crazy Slick is a bad person who did this to me and everything else that. Well, okay, not trying to create a thing here, but have you ever addressed this clip of you meeting Adriana Lee? What? This has 861 views. What the fuck am I? What is this? I don't understand. Like, what? Address what?
Oh, what's up? How's it going?
Doing all right. How are you doing?
Doing okay. Good to meet you in person.
Are you ready?
Yeah. What's this?
3, 2, 1.
This is it? What would you like me to address about this clip? What would you like? No. I want to know what the chatter wants me to address from this clip. What am I supposed to do in the clip? You can't even hear what I'm saying? He's drama baiting. They're saying you ignored her, but it was manufactured bullshit. This is in the middle of like that's so offensive. Wait, what? What's offensive? Oh, you permed him already? Aw. I wanted to see what they were. I wanted to see what they wanted out of the situation. Like what. What's up? I was signing a waiver to go into the death pit at that moment in the middle of TwitchCon. That's why I was on my phone. But I don't know. I don't know what you would like me like. What's up? That clip doesn't make you look good. This seems like a gotcha clip. I mean, but it's not even a thing. Like, it's not even a thing. Sorry. Fucking idiot. You happy? Did you get what you wanted out of that? Was that exciting for you? Stay mad. Incredible. Anyway, going back to the actual matter at hand. Guys, stop dogpiling the chatter. No, dogpile the other one. The one that was like, stay mad. People are such fucking gross freaks. What a gotcha, dude. You fucking got me. Anyway, as I was saying, like, I didn't even ignore her in that situation, but I was signing a waiver. But if you truly cared about the situation at hand, you probably wouldn't have cut me off while I was, giving you my assessment on the situation to fucking bring like some irrelevant zero IQ gotcha moment specifically to get like a drama bait clip out of it. That's how little you guys give a shit, okay? Shit. Okay. As I was stating, what Maya did was wrong. She recognized that she had done a wrong thing. Good people can sometimes do bad things, intentional or unintentionally. These are all things that we had rehashed over and over again. Now, the part of the conversation that matters in this, or not matters, but like is relevant in this circumstance, is going to come to Mizkif. Now, my assessment on this is not even that Mizkif has gotten this extended cancellation because of his involvement in this process, but rather how he conducted himself. Okay? How he conducted himself in the immediate aftermath on the phone call, and how he conducted himself in the in the subsequent month after. That was bad. That was so bad that it was literally the same as like the other clip that Ludwig was talking about. Let's watch Ludwig's coverage of it, and I'll give you my assessment on it.
It is totally coincidental that I happened to upload that video yesterday or 2 days ago, and then they did this announcement yesterday. Obviously, I have no clue that this was coming. Otherwise, it would have been great to just wait a day, and that would have covered it. But yes, rehashing a lot of the original claims of Mizkif covering up sexual assault don't seem to be true. What is true, and what OTK did punish him for, were his actions on his comeback stream October 11th, which demonstrated a lack of empathy and ignorance towards the seriousness of the situation. Now, I never made a video about this. I never really talked about this, so a lot of you might not know. But after the initial apology that Mizkif made on Twitter, he kind of went radio silent for a while. He didn't stream for a long time, and then he suddenly was like, I'm going to come back and I'm going to stream. Fine. That's up to him. You know, the investigation wasn't over. It was going a while. He missed streaming. But his comeback stream was, to put it lightly, embarrassing. It started with an hour of him basically stalling because Hassan and XQC were both reacting to him to try to see what he was going to say about the investigation or what he was going to say about the entire situation. And Mizkif, in response to this, played Super Mario 64 and said, I'm going to keep playing until you guys stop watching me. And they didn't. So then he eventually ponied up, and then he said, I have no news.
But also, he like played a clip. He said it was an accident, but still, like,
which by itself would just be like, you know, kind of embarrassing. But then he also had this moment, which was really just dumb.
No matter what, dude. One of my things.
Now, this is a tattoo artist who talks about how good he is at cover-ups, specifically with bad tattoos.
I am a master at cover-ups and reconstruction.
Me too, for 4 years.
Excuse me?
I think this will not look good like this. Like, let's.
That's tough. He also pulled up this video of sexual harassment is illegal. it was just kind of tone deaf. I don't think he had a plan going into this stream. And although it doesn't seem like anything involving a sexual
Why are you guys
assault-
throwing like huzz and what the fuck, dudes? We watched this happen live. Like, he did that live. You should know this already. That, in my opinion, was the worst thing he could have done. That, in my opinion, is the worst thing that he did. Obviously, other than the impact I'm talking about, the impact that his actions had on the entire streaming community in Austin by, allowing Crazy Slick to continue fucking running rampant. As far as like apologies goes, as far as like, saying you're in the wrong or taking responsibility of your actions, it's just like, that is just unacceptable.
cover up was true. It is true that he made an inappropriate joke about sexual harassment and that he had some unsavory clips and like random calls and generally I just don't think handled it as well as he could have or should have. And I think it's pretty clear that my boy Stans had the better path of what you should do in that position.
And you just go, hey, chat, I've been gone for 3 weeks thinking about everything that's happened. There's an investigation going on, so I can't say anything about it. I hope to give you guys the truth, but in the meantime, I am out of OTK on whatever. I'm going to be streaming like normal so I can make money to pay my...
By the way, like, sponsor Stans, very good take here, but also, like, Maya is a good example of this. He made a bad joke, not worthy of a cancellation. Dude, your assessment of the situation is so fucking stupid if you don't understand this. The entire point in that circumstance is for Mizkif to take ownership of his actions, whether intentional or unintentional. Okay? And if you turn around and instead of taking ownership of it, like Maya did, okay? Like Maya did, instead, when you do this kind of thing, okay? When you're in the wrong, like when you're in the fucking wrong, you're not showing that you understand the seriousness, the severity of the situation, But I guess there's like dumbasses like you here, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. This is not like a cancellation because Mizkif said something wrong or mean, okay? Notice how, I don't even know. Ludwig's probably not even going to bring up the logs or whatever that were re-released, okay? And I am not talking about that either. You want to know why? Because people can do fucked up things, wrong things, bad things, okay? Be racist in the past and change their fucking ways, okay? Everybody understands that. But what matters in that situation is taking accountability, taking ownership of that, which Mizkif has, in that regard, at least, has addressed those things. They were just re-released in the drama cycle and people fucking used it as another, used it as an addition to pile on. But that's, by the way, that is the reason why that would be a cancellation, okay? Or a recancellation. This is different. He has owned up to those logs already. He had already owned up to like a lot of that fucking shit. Like that he had said racist things and whatnot.
my rent for the next after this, but today I'm gonna leave. I hope I can share more information with you soon. And then you turn off stream. That's it. Literally, that's it.
Super mature. Stan's a smart guy. He's someone who I go to for a lot of the things that I need to do. In response, again, to Miz acting inappropriately during this stream and in the wake of all the drama, OTK has decided to remove his board duties effective immediately and place him on monitored probation, which is basically just them saying, hey, we're going to punish him because we acknowledge that it was bad, but we're not going to kick him off. And I think, honestly, if Mizkif wasn't such an important piece of OTK for the first year and a half of its creation, I mean, every big stream was on his channel. He was really carrying the org on the live stream front. He probably would have been kicked off. Straight up. If he wasn't that valuable, they probably would have booed him for just how he handled it. Because if there's a clear goal with OTK here, and it is to remove the bad connotations for the bad things that have happened with some of the org's founders from the org's like idea in public conscious, but basically trying to clean up their image, right? To put it simply. But I'm going to make a prediction right here, because although it's been a hell of a year and an even worse month, I think OTK has a bright future, and it's not because of Mizkif. It's not because the other streamers on it. but it's because the people running it. Now, I know Tips. I know he's a good dude, and he's someone who came in clutch for me.
He's the one who got me my PC, by the way. Shouts out the Tips.
When I was running my Smash event and my chess boxing event by helping out, by sponsoring it with Starforge. And I know he's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a smart guy, and I think he'll take the org good places. And he's joined by Zach Diaz, another guy who I know is a super good dude.
Also a great guy. Used to work at Twitch, for the record. Big lefty. He's a good dude as well.
Who worked at TikTok and Twitch. So barring any other drama and barring these two guys leaving the org, I think OTK will probably stick around, although they will always have a bit of a stained reputation with some, and that's just a battle that time will defeat. And that's about it. I think that covers pretty.
Big lefty, now a capitalist? The fuck? What do you mean? He is. What is he, not supposed to work a job? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? Motherfucker literally said big lefty now works for another organization. Yeah, he worked for TikTok and he worked for Twitch and now he works for OTK. Do you unironically think you just mean, like, you think being a leftist implies that you can't have a job? Like, you, what? If you can't change everything, you shouldn't change anything. What? Dumbass take? Dark humor defense? If you can't change everything, you shouldn't change anything? If you can't change the systems, you shouldn't have a job? What? I was being sarcastic. Oh, okay. Anyway. Okay. So ultimately, I haven't watched Mizkif's apology.
Let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching. All right, subscribe. All right, see you later.
I haven't seen Mizkif's new apology video yet. He is live as of today. I assume this is going to be good. There's no fucking way that there is no way in hell that this will be bad, I assume, because, like, holy fuck, it's been a long time for him to be able to cook this up. Okay? We'll watch in a second. I want to see the moist video.
Yeah, and Mitch to
kind of backpedal real quick though, I don't think anyone was like initially talking about OTK investigating themselves, because they did immediately make it clear they were sending it off to the Jackson Walker LLP, or a third-party investigation firm. I think the reason why people are saying that now is because they didn't publicize the results. Of course, I haven't finished the video yet. I wonder if Ludwig has the same take on it that I do, but I think it's a huge
I don't think he does.
disservice to take something so public and then privatize the information that was found. It makes it very hard to take their word for it and trust everything was done.
I mean, look, these kind of third-party law firms, this is what they do, okay? This is what they fucking do. That's the reality. Let's be real, okay? It is. So your assessment of the situation at hand is probably going to be, well, depending on how much of the evidence you are aware of personally, is probably not going to be any different than what the third-party law firm's assessment is going to be as well. Unless they have, I mean, I'm sure they have way more insider information, which would be good to know for sure, but they did not actually release this. But ultimately, this is what law firms do. Like, this kind of law firm is hired partially because they want to make sure that the organization is protected. And depending on what who the person is, right? Who the person is that they are investigating, they are going to either decide that, you know, it's cover-upable, or in situations that are far worse than what we're talking about now, by the way, like far worse, where we're talking about, like, not not a person and their level of involvement in the cover up of sexual assault, but like directly doing the sexual assault, they will hire a third party law firm. And if it's the fucking CEO, and you know, they find the CEO to be like irreplaceable, then they're gonna fucking protect the CEO, right? Like they're gonna protect the corporation. They're gonna work at the behest of the corporation. If it's like a lower rung employee that's fireable, for example, they will make that assessment. Like, what is the crime? What is the level of involvement? And what kind of damage is going to happen to the corporation, especially if they do it again, right? But in this circumstance, given the fact that we have a lot of information about the decision-making process that took place leading up to, OTK and Mizkif saying, "Crazy Slick, you're gone." But normally, if we did not know the background information and this information came to light, and Mizkif literally operated in the way that he did, I don't even think he would have been canceled in this way. Okay? Straight up. If you found out that after someone wrote a tweet longer saying that they were groped, but they did not think it was sexual assault, and then later they came out and said, no, actually it was sexual assault, and once that information was made clear, and the only thing we knew about, and in most circumstances you don't get this level of information, this level of background information in the negotiations that are happening behind the scenes, people would be mad at Mizkif, but they wouldn't be that mad at Mizkif, ultimately, because he's not the one who did it. He's the one who may or may not have covered it up. But of course, because we know all the things that he said in the process, saying, this is my best friend, I want to defend him, this is my best friend, of course I'm going to try to defend him, like, it's not good. It shows that his motivations in that regard, in that moment, is still protecting his best friend. So no matter what happens, his ultimate reaction, his immediate reaction was really bad, even though they ultimately did the right thing. Okay? My own personal perspective on this, like I said, okay, my own personal perspective on this is that whether intentional or unintentional, all the streamers are backpedaling because they will sue. No, they won't. My personal assessment on this, whether intentional or unintentional, is that it is wrong for the people that are friends with the person that was the perpetrator to go and talk to the victim. I think this is a fact that Maya understood very clearly and apologized for immediately. We're going to watch Mizkif's apology as well, but ultimately it was the wrong thing to do. Okay? It was the wrong thing to do. There is no backpedaling there. I am still making that assessment because I think that is the correct assessment in that situation. My opinion on that has not changed. If Mizkif also had handled his part of the matter in the same exact way that Maya had done, if he had conducted himself better, because ultimately Crazy Slick is the offending party here, okay? He is the perpetrator here. If he had not wanted to immediately protect this person and instead apologized and did what he ultimately did, which is, kick Crazy Slick out, okay? He would be streaming. He would have been streaming. Things would not have been the same at all, in my opinion. He didn't do any of those things, and that was basically what snowballed Mizkif's return and snowballed this into a way worse situation for him personally. So, given all of that, let's take a look at what happened here
Fairly,
after
over
the Charlie
board,
take.
everything treated equally, and reaching this conclusion. I just think this needed to be public. You can redact personal information so no one's safety is at risk, but just letting people see the general evidence that was collected, and then people can make their own decisions on how to feel about it and where to go from there, and whether or not OTK is making the right decision by bringing Mizkif back. It's just a huge misstep by not putting out...
And Maya and Mitch to...
I don't know what this... I don't know why you guys sent me the clip. What is Charlie saying? Was this clip chimped or something? Charlie clarifies his stance here.
Man, what are these titles on LSF? I was wondering why it's so twisted in the title. That is unreal. Absolutely unreal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you weren't there, right? I got some mixed up info and didn't pay attention at the time. No, man. No, I'm not there. I went to Austin one fucking time for shit camp. Jeez, shit con. I live in Los Angeles, man. I don't know any of these people that are fucking involved. Not shit camp, shit con. Jesus Christ. How the fuck does this still keep going? Like, it's just mind-boggling to me that... Anyway. That's definitely a bait chatter. I don't think that person is baiting. I think, like, he's just misinformed. Anyway,
You're
what...
so fucking dumb. Agreed. Which is why I never fucking said that they hid or fabricated the findings. I just thought since everything was public, releasing their report publicly makes the most sense so everyone can see all the evidence and form their own conclusions, considering there is still only the 2-month-old information that we currently have. Everything else is hidden.
I think Charlie's take is decent. Like, having a better understanding of, like, the investigation, having a better understanding of the investigation's conclusions is adequate. Because ultimately, like, this is about instilling confidence in the public that at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break. And, like, some of you still refuse to recognize that, right? That at the top of the hour there's a 3-minute ad break. Some of you don't want to see it. Some of you don't want to recognize it. But it still comes. And I tell you it's going to come, and you still are like, fucking, nope. You know, it's not coming. Well, guess what? At the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free. You're going to hell, bro. But of course, you can also get gifted a sub. If you're lucky. You know, that's one other way to avoid the top of the hour ad break. But comes and goes. Before you know it, you're blammo hit in the face with the fucking ad, you know? Okay, Fiaz, thank you for the 14 gifted subs. Okay, so I think it's valid because this is, they could have just said, fuck the investigation. We're just going to continue working with Mizkif and not giving a shit, right? Why are they doing it? Well, it's to make sure that, one, they are like fully aware of how much damage it could cause in the future, like having Mizkif on the on their lineup could cause them. But they're also doing it. But they're also doing it specifically to instill confidence in the public that they are doing the right thing, right? So I think that releasing some of the information would make it seem less like a damage control and more like a serious investigation that was concluded. Okay? Because it is all for optics. It's all for optics. So if it's all for optics, you know, that would be a good optics move, in my opinion. But then again, who knows? Because people are fucking crazy. And have shown that they do not know how to conduct themselves appropriately. Okay, so they could have released more, but ultimately, like Lud said, it would just take time to show goodwill to change opinions. More info could just muddy it up and be twisted. Yeah. But Ludwig also made a correct assessment in his first ever mogul mail that he did about the issue, where he said nothing is going to happen and Mizkif could just start streaming like nothing happened after a while had passed, and it would be fine for him and his career. Maybe it would be like a little bit harder for him to do collaborations early on, but ultimately he would be able to do it because what we are failing to recognize here is that if there's varying degrees of offenses that you have engaged in, playing a role in your friend's sexual assault is still not as bad as the sexual assault itself, especially if the sexual assaulter is no longer a part of your immediate circle and has been dealt with adequately, which is what happened. Okay? or going there physically as Maya did. Yeah, I mean, look, that's why I keep mentioning the difference in people's opinions in regards to Maya versus Mizkif. You know what I mean? The reason why people are dealing with the reason why people dealt with Maya, or the reason why Maya is back to streaming, but people are not upset at her in the same way as people are still kind of upset at Mizkif, is because of the way that Maya conducted herself versus the way Mizkif conducted himself. So without further ado, God, oh, this is only 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Hello. I've been wanting to make this video for a while.
No, Mizkif's a big streamer and everyone just hates him no matter what. Dude, you have to be a child to think like this. Because, like, the inverse of this is more true. That Mizkif is a big streamer and no matter what happens, people will literally fucking defend him. Like, the inverse is closer to the truth. Which people still didn't. But you are kind of doing it right now.
Hello. I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, and now that the investigation is over, I would like to address my embarrassing comeback stream in October. My behavior on that stream was absolutely unacceptable. I communicated almost everything terribly, and I was completely tone deaf to such a serious situation. And I'm so sorry for how I acted. It was completely insensitive. I want to apologize to everybody, but especially victims of sexual assault. The way I behaved was horrible, and I will be better, and I will learn from this situation. I want to be better not only for myself, but for my audience. And I want my influence on this world to be positive. And I don't want anybody to deem the way I acted.
I mean, yeah, even if he's reading from a script, it doesn't matter. You know,
It's
not like a. I mean, it's right. He's saying the right things.
Acceptable or okay, because it was not. I could talk about how I'm going to do everything differently, but I'd rather just prove it to you guys through better behavior overall and better content. That's really all I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm sorry for such a long.
Yeah, Miskids don't realize, like, his fan base doesn't realize that, like, when you fucking come in and, like, say unhinged shit, you don't make Mizkif look good. You make him look bad. Like, you're not making him look good. Because, like, I mean, I don't want him to fuck up, okay? But when you come in here, you make it seem like, you know, he is completely relentless, or at least you are completely relentless and act like he didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, no, of course he's going to write a script. Guys, come on. You saw how he was unscripted last time. I don't think there's an issue with that. Come on, dude. This is a big, you know, I would rather have him apologize correctly. And more importantly than that, take atonement for his actions and not repeat shit like this ever again. And you know, take responsibility for what he did rather than, you know, not do that.
Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'm sorry for such a long wait for a response. If you are angry with me, I completely understand. But I absolutely do love this job. I love streaming, and I hope you guys stick along. Thank you.
Won't mess up again, surely. But, like, dude, it's over. Like, here's the reality, okay? This is kind of like when I fucking ban people and then unban them, okay? You guys are always like, nah, keep him banned. But it's like, okay, well, next time he fucks up, it's going to be infinitely more serious because he's already lost any shred of charitability that people would offer him in any meaningful capacity, not only with his actions, but also with his following response. Chill, internet has no memory, there won't be any consequences. That's also not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. There are a lot of people that dude, I wish the internet had no fucking memory. That way people would like stop fucking yelling at me about shit that I haven't done. Okay? Once your charitability is gone for good reasons or for bad, like in my circumstance where I've never done anything fucking actually shitty that deserves people's ire to that degree, okay? Motherfuckers act like I did genocide. Like they just say whatever the fuck. But no, people do remember and they bring it up. Anyway. Do you believe he's actually sorry, though? Usually I'm sympathetic to apologetic parties who are perceived to being cynical and doing it out of necessity because I think people are uncharitable, but in this case, it just feels pretty evident that he just never gave a fuck from the jump. It's hard for me to make the assessment on whether or not he is truly apologetic, especially because of his, like, return, which is original return stream. But ultimately, it doesn't even fucking matter if he's authentic or not, is my point. Okay? It doesn't matter if he's authentic or inauthentic. It doesn't. He did what he did, and only time will show if he's truly, if he truly knows he's in the wrong. For a lot of viewers, it does. No, but that's it. Whether he's authentic in his apology or not is not going to change anything. As far as like whether you feel comfortable watching him or not. Okay? I guess that's what it matters. If you're like, oh, is it appropriate to watch him? Is it not appropriate to watch him? Is that what the reason why you're trying to figure it out? Well, then you have to make that assessment on your own. But ultimately, this is the same exact shit that I tell you all the fucking time. Like, I feel like this isn't going to change most people's opinion of him. If you didn't like him before this apology, is it going to change that? Yeah. I'm out of the loop. What has happened between his original comeback and now? Nothing. He waited for the OTK investigation to be concluded to see whether or not like the third party would consider his actions to be like truly damaging to the organization. I know the investigation is said to have taken place to see what level of wrongdoing Mizkif engaged in. Okay, but like the real reason why they do stuff like that is obviously what level of wrongdoing he engaged in. Okay, but also on top of that, is it redeemable? And how important is he for the maintenance of the organization? How important is he as an asset to the organization? Okay. And the only reason why I can say it doesn't fucking matter right now is because the person who is responsible for the main act, right? The actual act, the sexual assault itself has already been dealt with. If that was not the case, then we would be having an entirely different conversation. You know what I mean? This is more, that's why his apology doesn't feature Crazy Slick at all. You 100% sure? What do you mean? Don't compare ban on this chat to shit to cover sexual assault. Wait, what? I've already told you whether Mizkif intended to, like, in a mastermind capacity, like a chess master, send Maya over there strategically, okay, to silence Adriana, Okay. And then Maya was like, of course, Mizkif, you know, I will follow your bidding and do this or not. What they engaged in was wrong. Maya personally recognized it. I said that it is wrong. Even if you did not intend for that to be the wrong thing, it's still a wrong thing. Maya explicitly says she didn't cover up sexual assault. Oh, God, I hate this because it's like, it's frustrating to have this conversation over and over again with like Twitch people because like I've talked about it so many fucking times, okay? Oh my God. Maya took responsibility because her presence there was not appropriate, okay? That's why she took responsibility and apologized. If Mizkif had done the same thing, this would not have even happened. Like he would not be apologizing now. He would have apologized back then. And then, you know, people would yell at him in the beginning, but he would have been streaming months ago. Okay? Just because Maya didn't go there to be like, I'm going to make sure you rewrite your fucking thing. I don't think you got sexually assaulted, or I'm trying to fucking stop you from openly admitting that you know, you got sexually assaulted, which I don't think is what happened anyway. Okay? Even if she had honest intentions to be like, I want to go and figure out what the fuck happened there, that's still the wrong thing to do because, again, like, you're friends with Crazy Slick. You're living in the house with him. It's the wrong thing to do, which is exactly what Maya understood and apologized for. That's it. But as far as like, you know, as far as his involvement goes, or as far as his like, as far as the things that he said thus far, like this is the first time where he is saying the right things, which is why I'm telling you, ultimately, the main person that was responsible, the main responsible party has been dealt with, hopefully. Okay? So in this circumstance, only time will tell if he's truly changed his behavior. That's it. Like, this is actually a good take. The call made it pretty hard for anyone to argue that Miz was ignorant of his intent of sending Maya, which is, like, even if he originally fucking wanted to figure out whether or not this person had actually done, you know, whether it was, like, truly a fact-finding mission or whatever, the call made it seem like, even after the fact, that he was, like, still interested in defending his friend. That he kept calling him his friend, his best friend. So much so that we were like, what is he fucking like dating? Is he in love with Crazy Slick? If you remember. And that is unacceptable. I think he understands that. At least this apology makes it seem as though he does. Anyway.